Hello, and welcome to another video. So in today's video, I am going to answer a few questions from one of you. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so I'm going to make this short. I did try and find the counseling that's going to help me to explain to you what I mean. I couldn't find it. However, I found these three that are balled up because they were at some point in my OCP pocket. But we'll get to that in a second. Here is the question. Could you do a video talking about the best qualities to have as a soldier at basic training? I know there are different ways to going about your time there. For example, staying under the radar or trying to be helpful and be a leader. Can you talk about what you felt like was the best thing to do? As a mother, I feel like I'm naturally going to want to help some of the younger kids, but I also have been cautioned to just fly under the radar and keep my mouth shut and ride it out. I'm trying to figure out what line to walk with that. This is a beautiful question. Thank you for asking it. I do want to say, like I said, I was trying to find the counseling, and the counseling, just think of it as like a write-up that I received from doing the very thing that you are speaking about. In one of the videos, I mentioned to you guys that there was this girl, she slept next to me in the bunk. Now, this was at the point where I already knew I was chaptering out. She slept next to me she slept in the bed next to me. And she just was having a hard time. She didn't want to like take showers and things like that. And she was a very hard sleeper. So no one else wanted to wake her up. So I took it upon myself to wake her up every single morning. Well, I did that after, but I realized that no one was waking her up when I first moved over to this section. Like once I knew that I was going to be chaptering out, I moved my bed kind of over in the corner. She was a holdover. So she had been there for a full cycle before, and she was doing another cycle. So some of the people there who were holdovers before, they knew her. I didn't know her. So like I said, I moved over there. No one said she was a hard sleeper. She didn't wake up or anything like that. The drill sergeant said, hey, you're going to be with the holdovers from now on. So do like that. So I woke up in the morning and I didn't get any further instructions. I didn't know if I was supposed to still go to formation. No one said anything. No instructions were given. All she said was, I need to stay with the holdovers. So I knew this girl was a holdover. So I'm like, okay, I'll stay with her. So I woke up in the morning and she was still sleeping. So I said, I guess she's gonna let me know, like, you know, when formation is for the holdovers. I don't know. I didn't know. I had no clue. So she waited and waited and waited. The girl never woke up. She never woke up. I was fully dressed and I was just sitting there waiting. Next thing you know, I hear my name and girls running up the stairs saying, the drill sergeant said, come down right now. She's trying to give you a counseling. And I'm like, a counseling for what? Like, I'm where she told me to be. So I walk down, I go to the red line for the CQ desk, and the drill sergeant very gladly, now this is the drill sergeant I was having a hard time with. She just simply didn't like me. She gave me a hard time there, and that just is what it is. She presented me this write-up, and I gladly signed it and gave it back to her. Like I said, I already knew the games that she was trying to play, and I already knew that I was going home, so I wasn't really worrying about it. But you know what didn't happen? The other girl did not get a counseling. One, because the drill sergeant didn't like me, so she didn't care if the other girl didn't get a counseling. And two, the drill sergeant didn't like me, so she didn't care if the other girl didn't get a counseling. And three, the drill sergeant did not like me, so she didn't care that the other girl didn't get a counseling. So nothing's fair. Nothing, like, the way that you think things should go is not the way that they go. Okay? So with this whole scenario, I would say you be where you're supposed to be at all times, period. You don't want to get yourself in trouble helping anyone else, because if you say that you're helping someone else, they don't care. Like, it's not going to help you at all helping them. Do I still say be helpful? Of course. I'm a mother. I have a teenage son. And some of the things just really pulled on you. And like I said, especially when I knew I was going home, I just tried to be as helpful as possible. But if I'm really honest with you, I could only be helpful like when we're in the bay. So when the girls needed like massages and things like that, because I am a massage therapist, I would do things like that for them. But as far as things that just had to do with being outside the bay, like outside of our personal time, there's not really much help that you can give outside of actually getting yourself in trouble. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to make yourself be in the position where you're ostracized because you want to be like the helpful one, because they really don't care. I know you would think that. That's why I wanted to say, like, when you're asking good qualities, well, there's good qualities that just as a good human being you would think that you're supposed to have, but it's not like that there. And that was a hard thing for me to wrap my mind around, seeing that there are so many younger kids who are, 3 years away from my son's age, you know what I mean? And just being mistreated. It was a hard experience for me, okay? So no, you can't step in and intervene and help anybody out. You really can't. Do what you can when you can, but don't get counselings because you're trying to be helpful. They don't care. And that's what it is. I will say though that if you go in higher rank, so if you go in as like an E4, they're automatically going to place more responsibility on you because they're going to assume that you have a degree. You'll see them going around when you guys first get there asking people, you know, what's their degree in, just while you're there in general. They're going to ask that. If you run into a new drill sergeant, they're going to ask you what's your degree in because that is their assumption that you do have a degree of some sort. I, however, know a guy who was an E4 and he didn't have a degree, but he was also like con artist type of thing. So he might have found out a way to trick the system and get higher rank, whatever. But they'll automatically put you into a higher role, even if you're not really like a leader, if you have rank, if you have high rank. So that would be my other recommendation, is just to get rank, see what your recruiter can do for you as far as rank. That might help you out a bit, and then just get through basic training, because in the Army in general, the higher rank you are, the more ability that you have to actually, change things. But I'm gonna be honest and say, like, most of the people who are higher rank, they got there because they ain't up for changing nothing at all. They're up for conforming, and in that conforming is, most of the time putting down other people. I'm just being honest. So whoever gave you the advice of fly under the radar, I would take that advice and just help when you can. Do not go out of your way to do too much, because it might backfire on you. Or you could be like me and you could do it anyway. If you're going, I was going home, like I said, so there were some things that I could do anyway. But even in that, like I told you guys before, there are people who were there with me who are still there as holdovers. I was trying to get back home to my family. I didn't want to be, have a drill sergeant being petty with me and then have me held over, slow down my paperwork, because they actually can do that. And then hold me there longer than I was supposed to be there. So I was very compliant until I got my tail out of there. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. All right, so I'm gonna read this one. It's a lengthy one. And I'm sorry this video is not gonna be upbeat, because both of these questions are kind of you guys know, they lead me to tell the truth, and I don't want to paint a flower rosy picture, and that's not what the picture is. I hope your day is going well. I just recently was watching your YouTube videos involving the Army. This is extra information about me. I'm a senior and a graduate in June. My plan for after I graduate is to go to the Army. However, I'm kind of skeptical because I've been seeing a good amount of negative remarks about joining the Army. About joining the military. She said about the Army / joining the military. I'm eager to leave my household, and I believe that the Army full-time active is my best option. I got off track. I was looking for your list and I couldn't find it. I'll skip all that stuff. Also, I wanted to ask your opinion, since you experienced it firsthand, and given honest and open feedback according to your videos, as well as related to you being an African-American female. From what I've been recently, I think she meant seeing, the cons are starting to outweigh the pros, but I still think I'm going to go. So I always say this too: go and see. Just know that it's hard, and just know that your experience is going to vary. Some people have a really great experience. Most people don't. Some people start off having a great experience and then end with the same experience that everybody else has. Okay? But they're just too tired and worn out, and they just want to go about their life and they don't want to talk about it. So there's that. So let's talk about, I've mentioned before, because you mentioned being African-American female, the opportunity is not equal. I've mentioned that before. And they have a program, an equal opportunity program. So because they realize that there is a disconnect between other races and people of color, okay, inside of the military. Because they realize that, they've implemented this program. But I did tell you guys before that the program is a crock of crap. Okay, all these counselings and me getting in trouble and all that kind of stuff, it wasn't even in trouble, it's being picked on, that's what it is, was all by an African American drill sergeant. She was an EO, like she was, there's two EO drill sergeants, and she was the one who was above. She was a senior drill sergeant. So all of these programs that they'll lay out, they mean absolutely nothing. They're just a way of, giving people extra authority to be able to control you in a very toxic type of way. It's terrible, honestly. I want you to go into it knowing that. I don't want you to think that, you're going to have some equal opportunity, because, another thing she did mention in this email is that I think she said non-binary. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm about to be 30 years old. I don't know all the terminologies, and I'm going to be honest, I don't research them all. I'm not going to research them all for this video. I had battle buddies. So I had two battle buddies. One of them whom I'm still we still message. She's in our group chat, who are what do you call it? What's the word? One of them has a fiance who's a girl. I guess fiancés are girls. Okay, one of them is a girl who has a fiance who's a girl, and then the other one also has a fiance who's a girl. So you get what I'm saying, right? One of the girls told me, she said, it's easier for me being gay than it is for me being black here. They have more respect for you. And it's not even respect. It's really, they want to kind of they don't want to offend in the fear of getting in trouble. In that sense, like lawsuits and things like that, in that sense, more so about your gender and about your sexual preference than about you being black. And that says a whole lot. So I'm just going to leave that there. I will say though, they should mention, like I said, non-binary, and in parentheses it says female born. So my assumption is that you're going to be with the females. Have the expectation when you're addressed that they're still going to address you as a female because you're with the females, okay? Have the expectation that you're not going to be able to give them a whole lot of pushback about what it is that how you want to be treated, what you want to be called. The Army's very behind. The military in general, they're very behind. I want you to keep this in mind before you even go. So the world that you live in outside, they're behind. They're catching up. Yeah, they do implement a few other things. Like I said, they have an equal opportunity program. So they tried a lot of the programs that they try with. They're just not very successful because I don't think that they ever were meant well when they're implemented. They were kind of just like hush programs. Like, oh, here it is. Stop that. They're kind of like that. They're jokes. And so much so, I remember somebody asking one of the drill sergeants about, I think it was the SHARP program. Was it the SHARP? I think it was the SHARP program or EO, one of the two. And he was basically like, there ain't nobody up there. Your complaint gonna come straight to me. They don't do a very good job of protecting people. I'm just being honest. So if something is said to you and you don't like it, the likelihood of it being resolved, it's just really not very likely. It's just really, it's a dog-eat-dog environment, especially for people of color. My battle buddy who's at AIT, she reiterated to me, I went to call and check on her after she left basic training. And she said, in the last 3 months, this has been the most, and I live in the South, and I'm from the South, okay? And this has been the most I have experienced in a long time. So I'm just putting it out there. I know it's a very controversial topic. People don't like to talk about the truth, but like I said, they're very behind in the way that they do things. It's a very, you don't even need to think about joining the Army if you're not okay with someone. See, I disagree with the degrading part, but if you're not okay being told what to do and when to do it, and that's what they do, okay? They don't ask you, just think about a parent who is overly aggressive, mean, is that the right word? And they're like, do this, do that, and don't say nothing. I literally have a counseling here, my first counseling that I ever got. Let me open it. I'm not gonna read the full thing because it's long. It basically was a crock of crap. And as the drill sergeant was, she told me to sign this, I was reading and I was like, I didn't even say that. And she looked at me like, you said it today. Like, you're gonna sign it today. And if, so let's say I said I didn't say it and I didn't want to sign it. Well, I would be in trouble for not signing it. Okay, but I want to read this back of this right here. Let's see. Hold on. So it says event orientated. So this is basically saying why this whole counseling came about. It says disrespect to a senior officer. So they don't really look at you as they don't really look at you as like, they look at you as less than. Okay, they look at you as less than unless you are the same rank as them. So even a just regular drill sergeant from a senior drill sergeant, the regular drill sergeant, they're looked at less than as a senior drill sergeant. So just think about you. You're way below on the totem pole. So any specific way that you would like to be treated or talked to or any of that stuff, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them. If it hurts your feelings, oh well, you're just gonna have hurt feelings for 10 weeks. You will have hurt feelings, let's not even say 10 weeks. You have hurt feelings for your time in the Army. And unfortunately, a lot of people who are not of color can't give you the experience of a person of color in the Army because they don't know. We have two different experiences. We could be doing the same thing. That scenario that I told you guys at the beginning of this video, when I got the write-up and the other girl didn't get a write-up, she was not a person of color. Okay? So we could be experiencing the exact same things. Hey, you get in trouble and I don't. I told you guys, or I get in trouble, you don't. I told you guys about one of my battle buddies who she got in trouble for not pointing her weapon the correct way down the range, and the other two people who were with her actually had live rounds in their weapon. She got day zero recycle and they did not. She was a person of color and they were not. So it's hard out here, okay? So when you mention, you know, you want to leave home, I just urge you to see all of your options and make sure that you're not running away from one thing to put yourself in a worse situation. That's the thing that I would like all younger people to think about before they make this decision, because I too wanted to join straight out of high school, and I'm glad that I didn't, because I wouldn't have had the same perspective because I needed the military. Remember, there are two people that join the Army. There are people that the Army needs, and there are people that need the Army. There are people that the military needs, and there are people that need the military. And like I said, there might be a different reasons why you need the military. Maybe family life isn't all that good. Maybe, you know, you just got some things going on at home. You need this. You're not doing anything. You feel unmotivated and you just need this. You need that extra discipline because you're going down the wrong path. Perhaps it could be a good decision for you. But there's some people who the Army needs, being the person like the first lady asked a question about, she sounds like the type of person that the Army needs, someone who is concerned about the well-being of another person. But those type of people don't really do well in the Army because it's not set up to support you in that way. Okay, so I hope I answered the question. As always, if you have another question, ask a question, and I'll see you in the next video.